the show back on the road. October 1722.
Gentlemen, how do you find it here?
It will work for us. But our goal must be to scatter our operations. To live and work among the people we protect, just as Altair ibn La'ahad once counseled.
Well, until that time, it's yours as you see fit.
Edward, Captain Woods Rogers survived his wounds. He has since returned to England, shamed and in great debt, but no less a threat.
I will finish that job when I return. You have my word. Evening, Anne.
Edward?
I'll be sailing for London in the next few months. I'd be a hopeful man if you were beside me.
England's the wrong way around the globe for an Irish woman.
Will you stay with the assassins?
No, I haven't got that kind of conviction in my heart. You?
In time, aye. When my mind is settled and my blood is cooled.
Sail ho! Coming into the cove!
Oh boy, who is this?
You're a good man, Edward. And if you learn to keep settled in one place for more than a week, you'll make a fine father too. Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none.
Whole gang.
And all I've done for want of a wit to memory now I can't recall. So felt me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going.
Wait, that's really how it's gonna end?
They'd wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should write and you should, I'll gently write and softly call. Good night and joy be with you all. Good night and joy be with you all.
Can't be the end, right? Isn't there some? There's gotta be something else here. Or at least something outside the Animus anyway. Even inside the Animus, it doesn't feel like this could be the end.
Father, did you always know how to sail a boat?
The Jackdaw is a ship, Jenny.
Not a boat.
But did you always know?
No. No, I learned after leaving Bristol.
After you left Mother?
Well, I didn't leave your... I didn't leave without saying goodbye, that is. was an arrangement, you see, between your mother and me.
She said you left her. She said you always talked about sailing a boat and making money in the New World.
I did always want to sail a ship. That's true. But not for a lark. To support us. To take care of her. And you.
Not me. Mother said you didn't know about me. She said you worked only once a year and that she never knew where to find you.
That's all true, and I'm sorry for that. If I'd known earlier, I don't know. I might have come home. I hope that I would have.
Well, you were busy. That's what I think.
I was, but that wouldn't have mattered.
Can I steal your boat?
Boat? I see no boat here. Do you?
I mean ship, obviously. I don't see the difference anyway.
Ah, it's a very simple one, Jenny. A ship can carry a boat, but a boat cannot carry a ship.
Why then, everything is a ship. Large and small. But for my toy boat, the one I take into the bath with me.
That's a clever way of seeing it. Is it hard to talk about Caroline, Jenny? About your mother?
No. She passed some years ago. I miss her, but it's all right.
Was she in pain?
I don't know. I don't think so. She was very happy for quite some time. Then, not so happy. I didn't see her much after that. Then, she was gone.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you.
It's all right. You're here now. And we're on an adventure.
Only a little one, I hope. I can't handle too many more surprises.
Do you think we'll see a whale?
Yes, there's a very good chance.
And what about pirates? Will I see pirates?
No. Not much chance of that, I think.
Not anymore.
That's rather sad. I should have liked to have seen one.
Tell you what, Jenny. As soon as these winds die a little, I'll let you steer the jackdaw. One little trick at the helm before sundown.
Yay!
Okay. Oh, this brings us back to the very beginning when we, or to the beginning of, to Assassin's Creed 3, right? No, I guess not. Okay. We were in a theater in Assassin's Creed 3 when we first started.
Miss Jennifer Kenway, may I introduce myself?
Jennifer Scott, if you please.
I'm sorry,
My daughter was raised by her mother, Caroline, until she passed away some years ago. Jenny prefers to use her surname to mine.
Please forgive my ignorance.
I will. She may not.
Father, help me.
This little rascal, however, is a Kenway. What's wrong, Haytham?
Ethan.
I can't see the stage.
Up we go. How's that?
Fine. But won't your arms tire?
Hey, I'm not so old as that. But if they do, then we shall quit this posh gig and go and meet your mother for some chocolate at White's. How's that sound?
Yes, please.
Okay, hush now.
Alright, well they tied it back into Assassin's Creed 3. I was gonna say, that looks exactly like the theater. Saw that one coming. Okay, yeah, I guess because I played Assassin's Creed 3. Sure. That is actually the end? It's weird. I guess if I had gotten all the special stuff, like hacked all the terminals and stuff, I would have gotten a different ending. I don't know. I'm a little bit I gotta admit, I'm a little bit put off by that. They kind of just ran out of steam at the end there. Like, sure, we defeated the big bad and all that stuff, but then it seemed like they had more story they wanted to tell. And, the outside the Animus stuff was coming to a head, and then it did, and then it just kind of died out. It's like, it was just done. I don't know. That's a bit weird. It doesn't feel like it was a particularly decent ending. I don't know. I mean, it was decent. I mean, they obviously put that ending scene there with Jenny and everything to try to like wrap it up somewhat and give them something of a happy ending, but it also, I don't know, it just kind of, it feels like they rushed at the very end just to get something done. It was like the story was going at halfway decent pace, and then it just kind of like fell off a cliff. I guess the whole thing is like, because they were talking about not Minerva, but whatever her name was, the precursor chick, and then they kind of threw that in there as like a, hey, I want to trying to go after her and find out what she wants and all that stuff, and then it just kind of petered out. There wasn't anything else to do. I mean, obviously they're trying to set it up, I guess, for more games to, for the games that come later to kind of expand upon that, I guess. But it wasn't, there's not like a whole lot going on. It's just weird. The story was enough to get you around the world, but it wasn't really enough to be satisfying, I mean, there's some satisfying parts. It feels like, here's the problem. Here's the big problem I've had throughout this. They had so many characters, and none of them felt really developed. I mean, developed to the point where you actually felt something for them. Like, I mean, we saw Blackbeard just die, and we're like, okay. All the other ones are pretty well died. It's like, there wasn't like necessarily a big bad. I mean, there was. I mean, that guy was kind of the big bad that we killed at the end, but he did not. And I don't know. It just no one, like, it felt like no one was there long enough to really. None of the characters were with you long enough to really make it interesting. And it also felt like a lot of development was happening off the pages. Like, they had the story beats in there where, the two ladies, when we lose the one pirate assassin chick, I forget her name because we barely know anything about her, Mary. But that was meant to be like a huge, big deal, and it just felt empty. Like, it felt like there was character development that happened that we didn't know about, Like, she just kind of popped in for a few missions here and there, and then just popped back out. And they kept saying, like, kept telling you, like, oh, she really respected you, and she was really on your side, and all that stuff. And then they never, like, we never, as players, we never really got we never had a chance to really get used to her, to develop that relationship ourselves. We're just told that they had a mutual respect for one another, and that's it. And that throughout the game, it's been that way. It's like, you're told that these people respect one another, and that they're, friends and all that stuff, but you never actually get to experience that as players, so you never have that connection. So when they invariably die, it's like, well, okay, I guess we're moving on to the next thing, and Kenway he's an interesting character. Certainly not a bad leading character. He's better than any of the leading characters in 3. He's interesting and everything else. It just, I don't know, everything just kind of felt very surface level as far as this one. Like, they didn't really know where to go, like, after 3. Like, when everything just wrapped up, they were like, all right, well, where do we go now with the Animus stuff? And there's plenty of places they could go. And the Animus just became a vehicle for them to just put you in an environment, but not really a vehicle necessarily to tell a story. And that's, I think, what's kind of weird about this. And let's be absolutely 1,000% fair. I like this game. This game's been really good. I can see why everyone thinks, everyone. I can see why most people really, really like Assassin's Creed 4. Because there's a lot to like here. Like, the mechanics and stuff, the ship combat and everything is a lot of fun. All the mechanics throughout the game were quite a lot of fun. It suffers from the same thing that all the other games suffer from, where it's like they overload one key, in this case the shift key, and so when all you want to do is run, instead you're running and you're grabbing onto things and you're constantly doing other things you didn't want to do when you're just trying to run in a straight line, So it suffers from the same problems that all the games in the series have suffered from that perspective. But that said, like, the ship combat was actually pretty, spot on, or well, not spot on. It was pretty tight. The controls for that. The most of the other controls were pretty tight too. I mean, I didn't really have much of a problem with them. They left the rope thing until the very, very end, because just like in 3, it was way OP. Although maybe not quite as OP in this one as it was in 3. I mean, there was a lot to do in the game, and I really appreciate all the stuff there was to do. Like, it's rare for me to go through and be like almost 100% something unless I'm really, really enjoying myself. And I really, really enjoyed myself on this. I mean, at the end, I could have spent some more time. Like, here's the problem. I could have spent more time hacking computers and stuff and looking for those last few notes, sticky notes and stuff. But I wasn't sure that was going to be the end. Like, even now, I'm still like, this doesn't feel like the correct ending. You know what I mean? Like, literally, you just pop in and you're like, all right, let's have a few cutscenes and then done. Which is not really what I was expecting. But, yeah, it's... I mean, I do really, really like this game. This has been really good. And maybe the DLC will iron out some of that ending. Because we're going to play Freedom Cry next. Although I'm not going to play it tonight, because we're at 11:30. And that's my normal quitting time. So it did take the whole stream to do it. But yeah, the story was good enough to get you around the world. It was great. I know a lot of people don't like the Outside the Animus stuff. I do really, really like the Outside the Animus stuff, because I'm a big sci-fi nerd, and that stuff is really interesting to me, is to be able to, like, walk around and see what they're talking about, what they're doing, and what the whole point of going in the Animus and all that stuff. So I really like that. The way they presented the stuff, I can understand in this particular game why people didn't like it, because the way they present stuff is like these long ass audio things where you're doing nothing but staring at one image. So I can get that. Like, if they had put more, either had made it a little bit more concise, or made it like full motion video or something, or put more art into it, I could see it being more compelling. Honestly, Revelations, even though the main story of Revelations was, the main story of Revelations was okay. I mean, it was about on the same par as this. But like, the Outside the Animus stuff in Revelations was really good, because it was concise, it was to the point, and I also, like, you got to go out, like, and I'm not talking about the cave, but when you go outside the cave to get the power things, those maps that they did, like you're going through the UFC fight, you're crawling along the rafters of that and all that stuff, were so inventive and so good. It was like, man, if only I would gladly give up an open world game if they had maps like those. Like if they just said, like, we're just going to make a linear Assassin's Creed game. It just does these maps, but we're going to put all this effort into the maps and making them really, you know, intricate and fantastic like those were, like the Outside the Animus ones were in Revelations. I'd be on board. I know it kind of goes against the whole nature of the series. The whole series has been open world from the beginning, but I would do that in a heartbeat. If it had that much, if that much effort was put into the levels and stuff. And you know, these levels were interesting. They all started to kind of fall into a predictable pattern, and that always happens with the open world games. But in this particular case, even though it was a very predictable pattern and everything was in, it still was fun. And I guess at the end of the day, that's the most important part, is that everything in the game was pretty fun. Even like running around collecting treasure chests and stuff, which I still didn't find that very last buried treasure chest. I have no idea where that thing's at. But even like going around the world and getting the treasure chests and picking up Animus fragments and all that stuff, like even that was fun. You know, the other games had like races and stuff, and I'm glad this game didn't really have that. It kind of did. It kind of did it with like the shanties, but they weren't that bad, you know, at the end of the day. And there's a very limited number of them anyway. So I'm kind of glad that they eliminated the racing stuff. Like, oh, you gotta race this guy across the city and all that, because I hated those from 2, and I even from 1 I hated those. I never bothered with them because they were just annoying as hell. So I'm glad they dropped those like a bad habit. Now they might come back in other games in the series. I don't know. But I'm glad for this one they just said screw that. So that was good, especially since they were focusing mostly on the sailing and all that stuff. Now, the one thing I will say, the multiplayer things that show up, like the white whales and stuff, I see what they were going with that, but that's really annoying nowadays when nobody's playing the game. You know what I mean? It's like, just need those things to just generate and be done with it, right? Trying to get those things to generate now is difficult at best. And you're missing out on things that you really want. But the underwater stuff was super tedious. Like, that was just like, I did all of it because, you know, why not? You know, but I did it all off camera, and it was just like, that was the worst. Like that. I mean, every game so far has had something really bad in it, and that was the bad part of this game. The sharks and stuff was just ridiculous. So that was not fun. But everything else was pretty good. Pretty darn good. They tried some stuff. You could see they were really trying some stuff, and they were focusing a lot on the ship and naval combat. I will say, it bothers me how much all those upgrades relied on metal. Like, I feel like the metal amounts that some of those upgrades needed, especially the higher tier upgrades, was a little bit much. Like, I feel like if there's any balancing that they really should have spent more time on, it was that. Because the amount of metal you get just from random boxes and from sinking ships does not match up with how much you actually need in order to get those upgrades. And you could tell that it was unmatched, that it was not balanced, because I had so much money. I had hundreds of thousands of reals at the end there, and could not get the final upgrades on my ship. You know, it's just like, you know, just because of the metal, and it's like, that feels off. Like, when you have that much money, you've got all the other upgrades, you've literally got nothing you can spend it on because you've got all the weapon sets and everything else. Something's not quite right, and that was a little bit annoying. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, I have very little bad things to say. I like that they brought Sean and Becca back, to have a little cameo thing. And again, that was the other off-putting thing. Was like, they're like, well, you could go around and start hacking some more stuff for us, but then it just dies out. Like, there's nothing else that they have to say. I guess maybe if I had gotten everything, they would have had something more to say. I don't know. It's very strange. Like, the ending, it just kind of just ended. You know what I mean? That ending was the only thing that really kind of put me off. Everything else has been really good. Been really, really good with the game. So, yeah, I enjoyed my time quite thoroughly in it. So, I now can say I understand. I definitely understand why a lot of the people who are fans of the Assassin's Creed series view 4 as one of the pinnacles, if not the pinnacle, of just gameplay. Story, yeah, the Crystal Skull stuff, they really just kind of just washed over it really quickly. They really didn't put any depth into it like the other games in the series had. So the story was enough to get you from one point to the other. It was enough to get you to a point where the gameplay could shine, right? It was, you know, beyond that, it was not a particularly interesting story-wise. I still think Ezio's stories were far superior. It's like Brotherhood, I think, still had the best story of the series, and I think Assassin's Creed 1 would be second place, I think, and then third place would probably be Revelations, because it kind of ties in both protagonists from 1 and Ezio. So it's Ezio and Altair. It ties them both in, which is really good. And then, yeah, this one certainly wouldn't be up near the top of that as far as story, but like I said, it's not terrible, but also not the most interesting thing ever. What is this now? More Templar hunts? They're just showing me. I did all these. I collected all these stones. Is it just telling me that I collected all of them? Or did it just generate new ones? Huh. Oh, it's the new relic. Portrait emblem and title unlocked for multiplayer. Right. It didn't put more stuff on the map, did it? I think it was just telling me where I collected all this stuff. I guess. This is not showing up here. But where is the, let's see, now it says 90% on weapons and armor. That's weird. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the stream disconnected. Oh, what's going on here? Did restream die on me? Attempt number 2 now. Oh, there it goes. Now it reconnected. Although restream has not refreshed yet. It looks like it's connected. Sorry about that, folks. OBS popped up to tell me that it disconnected and it was retrying again. And it looks like it's working. There we go. It's, yeah, I think it is. Although the, it is online for everything. But the monitor, the streaming monitor is frozen. Alright, well, we're probably, I mean, we're wrapping up anyway, so it's, hopefully, everything's good there. Weird. Yeah, I guess Restream had a problem for a second. Is there anything else that I have to craft here? Oh, more rope darts. Tactile upgrades. Current stuff. Gray sails, leather sails. All that. Anything else here? Rope dart, can we correct? Weapons and armor. Abstergo challenges. So what did I end up with? 82 out of 100 Abstergo challenges I did. So 5 animals with the rope dart? And 10 with a blowpipe? Wow. Okay. Pet 5 dogs. I only pet 4 dogs. Oh no. Oh no. Only pet 4 dogs. What is wrong with me? Anywho. Donate his cove to the assassins and drew up plans for the future. Passing years earlier, daughter's impressive resilience. Edward returned to England to live life as a man of means and quality and as an assassin good and true. Yeah. 94% total sync. All over. Overall. Yeah, I didn't get all the buried chests. I am missing 1. Literally 1. I have no idea where that freaking buried chest is. No idea whatsoever. But everything else is 100% there. All these are 100%. The only thing that's not is the main sequences because you have to do all the other things, but it's just that one buried chest that is just missing. That's keeping me from having 100% side quest. So I have no idea where that is. But we could look around for it. But I think I'm going to stop here, honestly, right now. I think we've done our bid for King and Country as far as Assassin's Creed 4 is concerned. We'll be picking up Freedom Cry next. Let's go back to the main menu here. Yep, so next time we'll be picking up Freedom Cry and see what that's like. That's apparently an 8-hour thing. We'll see. It might be a little bit less than that depending on how much I do. But I might just kind of blow through that one relatively quickly. Because I'd like to wrap this up and take a break from Assassin's Creed because I'm going to be doing a bunch of other things. And then we'll be back and pick up the next one on the list, which I have a whole list of what order in which the Assassin's Creed games to play. So I will be looking at that one. I'll see what's next after Freedom Cry. But for those who'll be watching the recording, thanks so much for watching and sticking with the series the whole way through. I hope you have an excellent... I hope the series has been good to you. I guess. I don't know. Maybe. And hope you enjoyed. And I will see you in the next series.